Hey guys, good morning. How's everything going on everybody's side? I think we're still seeing streamers coming in bit by bit, so we could give them a couple of minutes. Hey Joshua, 3 a.m. What a dedicated man. Cool. So, let me give this a very quick introduction. We are starting off this Bsc Builder Bootcamp hosted by ChainIDE. This is LZ from Bsc, and today we have two very prestigious speakers who will be sharing with us how to build your Dapp on Bsc. So, without further ado, let me introduce Tim, the CTO of ChainIDE, and he'll be giving a presentation. Tim, please. Hey, Tim,
Cool.
ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. So let me first test the screen share. Okay.
Sure.
All right. Can you guys see my see the slides?
Yes, I'm seeing it. So,
Okay.
yep, I will hand the time over to you then.
Okay. Cool. All right. So this let me go to the first page. All right. Hello everyone. So this is Tim from ChainIDE, and today I'm going to introduce the which is a key part of this kind of like the build bootcamp is the ChainIDE itself. It's kind of like a multi-chain cloud Dapp IDE. So this is a pure cloud native like software that's built that's specifically built for developing like decentralized app, including the smart contract, front end and back end, and also some other features incoming. Yeah. So let me first give a introduction. Okay, so today's contents will be divided into four parts. So the first part is the overview. That's contain all these ChainIDE, the overview of ChainIDE itself. The second part is kind of like not that may not be that interesting. It's kind of the feature and the functionalities of ChainIDE. I will introduce all these features one by one. The third part is the kind of the service and ecosystem we provided for all the developers in ChainIDE, in the ChainIDE ecosystem, and of course for multi-chain developer communities. And the fourth part is the future plan. That's kind of like the roadmap of ChainIDE, and in the end, I will bring in a demo of like how to build a complete decentralized app in ChainIDE. Okay, the first part is the overview. So what is ChainIDE? So it is a cloud-based blockchain IDE for smart contract and dApps, right? So which can be deployed on BSC, Ethereum, Polygon, Dfinity, Conflux, Novice, Flow, and equivalent chain, and all other blockchains. So it is a multi-chain IDE, and for each different blockchains, we have a specific version. So today I'm kind of like mainly introduce like like the version of BSC. The reason like for choosing BSC for the demo is not only kind of like today's kind of a BFC like builder bootcamp. It's also because like it has several advantages of like testing and very quick and low latency transactions, and very low kind of like a cost of the transaction fees. Okay, so on the left, right, you guys can see the ChainIDE interface. So you can maybe very like familiar with like the IDEs with kind of the dark theme, and also the interface of File Explorer, the editor part, the console, and on the right side is very specific blockchain like UI for specifically for kind of compiling, deploy, interaction, and you can also view the transaction there. So it's quite straightforward, simple interfaces, and it's multi-chain support and it's web-based. So that's three key kind of features of ChainIDE. And also the reason we want to have a simple and web-based IDE is because blockchain developer can be very quick. And in the future, we kind of like envision it is all online, all in the browser. No need for kind of external or like desktop softwares. All right. So these are the supported blockchain. So for the consortium chain, because we also provided like private cloud-based ChainIDE for these kind of private blockchains. So we support the Ant chain, which is the blockchain provided by the Ant Finance, and also like Hyperledger Fabric. So this is also another well-known consortium blockchain. And for the public blockchains, we support the all the EVM, almost like all the EVM based blockchain. And also we support a Flow, which is a non-EVM based blockchain, and also like Divinity, which is kind of like a computation kind of cloud computation platform. So yeah, so we basically we are not like only focusing on EVM chain. We are kind of like broaden our support range. Yeah. All right. So here is a kind of a topic we cannot avoid when people comes to the IDE or like the development tool, right? So we all know that Remix is kind of a in the past few years, it's kind of a dominant role in the scene because it's kind of backed by the Ethereum Foundation, right? And also it's also be used for a lot of early like well-known projects, right? But we do see there are some like shortcomings of the Remix. So first, it's kind of like EVM only, right? And the second part is it is aimed to be a very lightweight, right? And lightweight browser-based IDE. It's kind of for browser part, it's the same as ChainIDE. It's we want to kind of simplify the development, but it has no backend running, right? So which means that if you want to kind of like do very complicated things, like doing kind of npm node runtime, at the same time you develop your smart contract, then it'll be very kind of painful. And I know there are some like extensions, like the truffle extension for Remix. They implemented in the way that you can do the same thing as like in Node as in the browser, but still there are some key features the browser cannot provide, right? So yeah, so without backend there, it makes a lot of things a little bit hard. And the other platform is kind of more hardcore, is VS Code, right? So of course, it's kind of the most popular desktop IDE in the free IDE domain, right? So in the paid IDE, there are a lot of like, competitors, and it has the biggest user base and a lot of useful plugins. So if I'm a very experienced hardcore developer, right? So a lot of developers choose to use VS Code because they can customize the IDE for to meet their own like requirements, and it has a lot of plugins. But still, it's a general purpose IDE, right? So and you still need complicated configurations before starting the actual development. So we are actually standing in between of these two kind of like competitors. So we are trying to provide very specific like blockchain blockchain development experiences in a very lightweight fashion, and also we also want to provide the users with very native experiences, like they are exactly like they are using VS Code in the browser. Yeah. All right. So what we want to bring in is these three key parts. So the first is easy development. So we want the users to directly open the like browser in any kind of like clients, like the desktop, laptop, and even like iPad, right? So and you can just start like development instantly. And also the customization is a very important part, because as you know, like we supported like I think right now it's like 14 different blockchain networks. So for each blockchain networks, we do a specific customization. Later, in later part of this presentation, I will show you like how what we did for like Bsc and how to start in like development in Bsc instantly. And also the ecosystem, right? So besides IDE, we want to bring more useful services and more activities help more developers to build and like incubate their applications. So we actually like hosted several bootcamps, including I think previous BSc masterclass in Africa. Not only not only being a tool, also we want to be a bridge of like for people to onboard to Web3 from Web2. And also we want to ChainIDE be an entry for all these developers. All right, so part 2 is the functionalities. So this will be kind of like I will put some like screenshots and to go through each part of ChainIDE. So this is kind of a kind of summary of all these functionalities, right? So file system, editor, preview, like compile, testnet, development, deployment, and interaction, plugin system, and also sandbox. Sandbox is kind of a newly released feature. It's still in beta. We'll talk about this feature in the last section. All right, so I will go through them one by one. So the first want to go through is a file system, right? So it's a file explorer tab on the left of ChainIDE, and you can the developers can create, rename, update, and delete all these files. And all these files are persisted in the cloud backend. So to know that ChainIDE has a cloud backend, and we want users can import and download the whole projects. The second part is the editor, right? So we supported the multi-screen editor in the browser. So you can just split your editor panel, right? And there are you can split the tabs, and we support the syntax highlighting and autosave. And in the future, we want to add more advanced feature as like people are using kind of a full featured IDE, like IntelliJ IDE, right? So like debugger and the spell checker and the grammar checker, right? But to be honest, the editor part is right now not in its best status, but we are developing to make it best. Yeah. So the preview is a very important feature in ChainIDE that allow users to quickly preview their files and the artifacts of the generation and the development. So for example, if you are working on a markdown, right? So you can just instantly preview the markdown result. And if you're working on a HTML front end, right? Or like even more advanced framework like React and Vue, you can still do the preview here. And that makes it possible to develop a complete D app, not only the smart contract in ChainIDE. So basically, you can just debug your smart contract, debug your front end and back end in the same projects in the browser. All right, so this is the log console, right? So we can see different loggers, and it was like divided into like different prefix, and it includes like the info log, right, and also the error log and the blockchain logs. And also we are the third part is the interactive shell and the sandbox. It's not incoming; it's already in the beta, and later we will just showcase it. And we're welcome to everybody to join the beta to try to have a try. All right, and this is compiler. So we have like the cloud-based serverless compiler which is not deployed in the, which is not the compiler embedded in the browser. It actually has a backend that has a basically has where we have this compiler deployed in a serverless fashion. It means that it's kind of it has like infinite scalability, so users can just access the compiler anywhere, and it is basically is a multi-version compiler, and you get the complete ABI and the bytecode info for later usage. JavaScript VM. So as we know that I think Remix also have their own version of JavaScript VM, and we also develop a JavaScript VM based on the EVM interface. So it's a in-memory EVM, and with the JavaScript VM, there's no need for like force it, and also the it will also avoid the like network latency. So this JavaScript VM is a we kind of like refactored the we implemented the EVM interface in JavaScript, and we are planning to release it in open source soon. All right, so this is the deployment and the interaction. So I think there's a typo. So the deployment part is you can just easily select all the contracts you compiled and click deploy to deploy to the blockchain you choose. And also you can import external deployed smart contract. And for the interaction, you on the right side you can see you can just choose the function you want to invoke with the ABI and address. And also you can instantly view the output in the interaction UI. So for example, here you can see the result of the of this kind of like invocation. All right. We also provided the complete plugin system, which means that users can develop your own plugins. For example, we can currently we support 14 blockchains, but if there's one more blockchain we want to support, we don't have time to support. Like, we're welcome for users to write your own plugins and submit to the to us, or just contact us, and we can just integrate your plugin into ChainIDE. Then ChainIDE can instantly support the maybe the fifth or sixth, 16th. The 15th, 16th blockchain networks. So it's a it has a like open source plugin. We have an open source plugin, a template for you, and we welcome users to kind of implement your own plugins. So, and also like for all these components in ChainIDE, they are all implemented in a plugin fashion, which means that the wallet, the deploy and interaction, the file explorer, and also the very chain specific configuration are all plugins in ChainIDE. So it makes ChainIDE very easy to integrate with new blockchains. Yeah, and we also have a plan to also like support VS Code like extension in the future, so that in the future all these VS Code extensions, aka VS Code plugins, can be used in ChainIDE directly. All right, so this is the we finished talking the second part, which is the ChainIDE functionalities with screenshots. And for the third part, I want to go through it very quickly. So it's services and ecosystems. So the first service we provide is the template market. So currently it is building in each chain specific ChainIDEs. So for each blockchain we support, we provide a bunch of like templates for users to quickly ramp up and start development. So like ERC20 showcase, ERC721, and voting system. And later on, I will showcase a BSC specific full stack template and show you how to do this development in ChainIDE. We also have like an NFT game tutorial. This is just an example of like how we are going to how we start to like develop a NFT based application. So it has on the left side you can see these are all the pre-generated pre-generated file in this projects generated by the template as the contract itself, the tutorial, and the README, and also the front end. Yeah, so you can just follow the steps to start your like NFT game creation and development. So this is another interesting try we give in I think this move castle is for the Libra's DM. At that moment it was called like Facebook's DM. At that moment it was called Libra, and its program language is Move. I think now it's already like hand over to the community. Facebook is no longer like maintain this anymore, but we actually built the interactive Move tutorial, like it's kind of gamification tutorial based on the ChainIDE core. Yeah, and you guys can also like search online. It's called Move Castle, and you can start playing the game at the same time learning like how to program. And we also provided the forum for you guys to give feedbacks. And we have like I think we have weekly online seminars and the application ideas. So we're welcome like all the users to join the community. And right now, I think we're more focusing on the forum is also like the very important portal for users to give feedbacks, but we are also like put a lot of like attentions on the social media, and also the chat group like Discord and Telegrams. So yeah, we welcome like all the feedbacks in all these channels. And also we hosted several developer activities, including the online classes like the Bsc Binance Masterclass in Africa. So, and also we have hosted the web conference with University of Alberta, and also we have hosted several hackathons. So and we actually incubated some like big projects in these hackathons. So these are the ecosystems, so forum and communities, and these are our partners. So basically, we have very good relationship with all these like blockchain officials, and also special thanks for Bsc gave a lot of like support. And we also have our social medias, so make sure you take a look at these. So we are releasing like the tutorials and contents, and also like updates in these social media channels. And also we are kind of like built up the ecosystem and supporting softwares for ChainIDE. So the first is chain-based, so it's manage a Dapp front-end, back-end hosting solution. So basically you can just host your front-end and back-end and NFT media in this service. So it's kind of a Firebase for blockchain and decentralized apps. And the second service is ChainSync. So now it's kind of these two services are still under development, and later on we are integrating these two services with ChainIDE. And you guys can, for developers, can easily like do their development and one click to deploy their app into these kind of like the app hosting solutions. So these are the products built with ChainIDE and also the chain base. So for on the left side is Mirror World. It's a very interesting. It's very interesting. The first one, this one, it's very interesting NFT projects, so that you can just mutate your NFT on chain. It may not be very famous, but it's a very novel projects that the smart contracts and the front end, they are developed and tested in ChainIDE. The second one is Matrix World. So this is our partner, so Matrix Labs. So they build this applications. They build this application, and it's 3D metaverse, and the smart contracts, the Solidity smart contracts and Flow smart contracts are all tested in ChainIDE. So this the third one is the Riverman. So it's also a very interesting project. It's a very interesting project that people can collect these 3D NFTs, and these 3D NFTs are kind of a jigsaw. So you can just once you collect the required pieces, you can just kind of fuse or like put them into one piece, and then you can just fuse or like forge a new piece of like a new piece of NFT. So once you collect all the pieces, it can form a whole kind of a picture. So it's very interesting. It's a kind of a collectible NFT game, and in the smart contract side, it's very it's very kind of innovative, and we also gave them like some advices on how to develop a kind of a on-chain fusible like NFT, and all these tests are done in ChainIDE. On the on the rightmost side, it's the Fanta Bear. So it's also a ChainIDE also supported as a technical partner, and so all these smart contracts are tested, and also like the beta integration test is done in ChainIDE. And I think this project was one of there was one day that it was the kind of the top one in OpenSea like trading volume charts. Yeah, so very successful project. All right. Okay, so the first part is kind of this is kind of the most exciting part, is towards the future. So in this part, I would like to introduce like what's the philosophy behind ChainIDE, and how it will kind of evolve in the future, and also the showcase of how to do the development in ChainIDE. All right, so towards the Web 3.0, right? So Web3 services. So this is basically my 2 cents and my thoughts on like Web3 services. So the first thing is everything should be on cloud, right? So it's kind of a still this idea is also bringing in Web 2, but in Web 2 is kind of a integration between, right? So the cloud and the local, right? So but on Web3, we consider everything is the resources in the internet. So everything should be cloud, should be on the cloud, and it's kind of inferrless, right? So for example, right? So for like all these blockchains, they are actually inferrless. We don't care much about the underlying infrastructure of like how these systems are running. We care more about, okay, we care more about how to put our own like code and applications instantly running without any like configuration, and also like the entry bar, right? So we want to lower the bar of like access the internet. So it's for example, right? So the introduction of EVM, right? EVM, it's behind that. Okay, so we don't need to care about infrastructure. We don't need to go to the web services provider to kind of request a quote, right? To create a server and then deploy our code. We just bringing our code, right? And we have kind of the token. We just deploy the code to the platform, to the blockchain network, and whenever there's usage, we pay with the token, right? So that's very simple interaction model, right? So code is the law. You put the code, it's a product. No need to care about the infra, right? And the third part is the decentralization and the multicentral. So in Web3, right? So we are seeing more and services are kind of like connected more often and more tightly. So for example, right, so all these in Web3, right, so we have all the identities, like activities recorded in the blockchain, right, and all other services can use these activities and the identities and the audit trails, right, to build their own app, right. So that's kind of like a better integration with the data and better connections. It's not like in Web2 we need to invent a lot of kind of standards, right, in order to make two services to integrate, right. We invent like OAuth, we invent um, the REST standard, right. These standards are all the goal of these standards are to make different systems to interact with each other. But for in Web3, it will be much more easier, right? All right. So what's the idea behind the inferless, right? So we do see a lot of applications, no matter it's in Web2 or Web3, they are kind of um, they're using an idea of inferless, right? So first, the biggest example is Google Docs, right? So it's kind of a word editor on the cloud, right? So then you don't need to install anything, right? There's no installation, and all these contents, it's kind of like shared across different like clients, right? So this is I think this is very first usage, or maybe the very first kind of a try of like inferless, the idea of inferless. And also Ethereum, right? Ethereum and IPFS, right? They are also like an inferless platform that people don't need to care about the underlying infrastructure, right? So only the um, so only the the owner of the nodes, right? They need to care about the infrastructure, but the user, they don't need to care. They just bring their code, bring their files, and put there, right? So that's the idea of inferless. And also on the right side is the Google Stadia. So it's kind of get rid of the consoles, and you can just directly play your game in the browser, right? So it's get rid of the infrastructure of like the game consoles. And on the left bottom, right? So left bottom is the Snowflake, right? So it's kind of people try to get rid of the database, right? So even though we now have like cloud services, right? So all the database are in cloud, but still there is a idea of there's a database, right? So we need to create a database in order to kind of make all these data flow, right? But the idea of Snowflake is get rid of the data, get rid of the idea of database. You don't need to worry about the database. You only need to configure your data store, right? That's the whole point of Snowflake. And on the last one I gave here is the Lucidchart, right? So Lucidchart is a cloud-based. It's also a cloud-based editor. It's editor for kind of like drawing the figures and diagrams. Yeah. So all these products are kind of like using the idea of inferless, and also inspires ChainIDE and the future of ChainIDE kind of like a development direction. All right. So what is the inferless in ChainIDE, right? So even though we are kind of like we already employed the idea of okay, web-based, right? So and serverless, right? But it's kind of it has some like trade-off, right? So for example, like Remix, they put a lightweight IDE in the browser, but the trade-off is there's no complicated like actions and operations. They can do it very easily because there's no backend, right? So that we are thinking about this. So why not we are employing the idea of cloud computing, right? And we put a kind of a sandbox behind the IDE itself, and it can and we try to provide the desktop level experiences for developers. So, for example, in this screenshot, right, you can see the terminal, right, and you can see this terminal. You can directly interact like in your like local host. So you can invoke the yarn and npm and do the compilation directly in the console. So I think this is really useful for users. They want to build a full stack, right, decentralized app, and also very useful for some blockchains like the Dfinity. It's kind of a pure backend blockchain, right? So it's if there's no backend, we can do nothing, right? We can do nothing for the development, but the sandbox makes it possible for Dfinity users to write their code and test on the cloud, right? So two benefits, right? So it's just a simple summary. So skip the configuration of like environment, infra, and servers, right? So you can just directly start a image, right? And the image may contain a local testnet, right? And we can it makes the development environment very customizable. And also we can have front end, back end, and the smart contract development in one place, right? So it includes all these runtimes. Currently supported the runtimes are a Node, Gas, Truffle, Empty Toolbox, and blockchain nodes. So these are supported, and we are adding more kind of like environments, more sandbox for people for different like use cases, and we welcome developers to submit your version of like the runtime and sandbox images. All right, and also as I mentioned, we are kind of like connecting ChainIDE to different like applications, right, in Web3. So the connection in Web3 is it's very important, right? So because the data is all the data is on the blockchain, right, and it make it very easy to integrate, and that's also the idea behind the connecting. So we want ChainIDE to connect to different like applications in both Web2 and Web3. It will become a kind of a bridge, right, between Web2 and Web3. So first is the VS Code extension integration, as I just mentioned, right? So ChainIDE currently has a plugin system, but it's kind of right. It was written in ChainIDE format, and we're now kind of try to provide the support for VS Code extensions. So which means that all these plugins and extensions can be directly used in ChainIDE in the future. And also front end and the back end hosting integration via Chainbase. So we are actually connecting ChainIDE with another product we are developing, which is Chainbase. And currently Chainbase is only for our internal and our partners usage, but we are already hosting several dApps in Chainbase. So later, once you finish your development in ChainIDE, you can just directly deploy it into Chainbase, and then your project is online, it's launched, right? So it's just one click. So we want to make it very quick and easy, and the Chainbase will be integrated with the CDN, right? Cloudflare, Netlify, like storage, Fleek, MPFS, or the centralized storage like GCP, AWS S3, right? And also for the computation, like whole computation power, we also like integrate with AWS, GCP, Azure, and also for the blockchain nodes, we are integrating with Infura and Alchemy, right? So via like the Chainbase, you can just one click to you can choose like which kind of like tech stack you want to deploy, and just click once you kind of like choice is done, just a click, and then it's shipped. Okay, the third part is the Empty Toolbox. The name isn't quite interpretive, but the NFT Toolbox basically means that we want to connect the ChainIDE with different NFT marketplaces and the different NFT solutions, right? So we want to integrate ChainIDE with the OpenSea Rarible and I think other like marketplaces on Bsc, and also the metadata backend template, right? So it's one click and create the different metadata formats, and also like a smart contract template and the persistent storage and hosting and CDN. That's also via Chainbase. Yeah. So these are kind of all these future plans, not all the future plans, but part of our future plans to make the ChainIDE more useful and connect into more external and internal services. All right, so this is kind of a picture we want to draw, like in the Web3 like in the Web3 world, right? So ChainIDE will be a middleware of the blockchain nodes, like a front end CDN storage and the back end and DevOps. So the ChainIDE will integrate and connect with all these solutions and make the development CI/CD multi-chain integration very easy. So on the bottom, so it's kind of like a development flow of ChainIDE, which is from templating to development to testing to deploy to DevOps and to incubate and launch, right? So we hope that for each steps in this kind of flow, we only need a few clicks or like writing a few lines of code. That's our goal. Yeah. So make the Web3 development super easy for everyone. All right. So I think it's about time to give a showcase of like ChainIDE development. So we will use this NFT full stack. This is a template in Bsc, and to demonstrate how to develop your own, I think your own NFT application. Yeah, let's go to this link. So actually, let me switch to, yeah, it's here. So actually, I already created the one. So before the presentation, but let me do this again. So this is the interface of ChainIDE, right? So this is not beta; it's this already in prod. And what we are going to do is we are initiate a project with the template, right? With the template market. And the way you can see there are blank template storage, NFT full stack, and a few more, right? So DeFi ownership. So we'll use this NFT full stack to create a project of this. All right. So this project is very simple, right? So we only have a README there, but what we want to do is we'll follow each step in the README, and then we're done. that's a goal. So first, let me connect to the ChainIDE backend. So we will choose the image. So there are 3 default images provided. So the Ganesh, Truffle, and Hardhead. We'll use Hardhead, right? So because Hardhead is my personal favorite, but it's just my personal choice. Okay, and yeah. So what we will do is we'll just try to clone the projects first, right? It's a public project. You can just check out this link and try to build a Dapp there. And yeah, let me do the installation. Installation will take some time, so we can during this this installation period, we can just showcase all these UI or for ChainIDE. So on the top, we can just directly connect to either inject Web3 provider or JavaScript VM. Let's do this. So connect the MetaMask, right? So we will switch to testnet because we're on the testnet. Okay, and then we are connected, right? So in the bottom, we can see all these settings are done, right? So it's connect to the configuration is Bsc, and there's a logger, right? And we are on the testnet, and this is my balance in the testnet. Okay, and we can directly compile compile a smart contract, but since this is a backend service, right? This is backend template, so the compilation will mostly done in the terminal. So compile we want to use it, but I will just showcase the compile in another application template. And after the compilation, we can just directly choose it from here and deploy it, right? And for the transactions, we can see all these transactions here. So it's installing, because this project is kind of big, so it will take some time. Yeah, but let's just wait. And on the left, right, so this is File Explorer, so we can just see this file here, this preview. Let's close it. And all these files are the necessary files we just cloned from GitHub, and these are important for these are the files to build these applications. Right? It has tasks for the hard hat, script for deployment. It's front end. It's a React application, and also the contract. Right. So it's a smart contract called Planet, right? So the interface is just okay. We have a Planet. I think this is an example from like open source. This is a open source example. We just copied here, and we want to do a showcase based on that. So basically, this is a Planet NFT, right? So and for each NFT, you have a base URL, right? And you have a buy function. We can just directly buy from there. And this is interface, right? And this is the actual implementation, right? This is the actual implementation. Not quite complicated, but this project is already very complete for you to understand, for the users to understand, okay, how to build how to develop a full stack application in ChainIDE and test it there. So after this installation finished, we will just start the test. So let me do some steps we can directly do at the same time while it's installing, right? So the most important part is we want to set a private key, right? So make sure that this private key is only for testing, right? So even though for ChainIDE all these files are encrypted and we have no access, but still strongly recommended only for testing. Only for testing, and later on we will integrate with the AWS KMS and the GCP KMS to ensure all the secrets are stored and intact. Okay, so we put the private key here. Let me find where's the secrets. Yeah, secrets. Okay, so I'll put my private key here. So that'll be this one, purely created for where's my, oh, it's here. All right. Okay. All right. So let me save this file. Okay. And then this is private key for the account I just created before the demo. So it's a Bsc demo test account. So it's 100% safe. I want to use this account for any other like production purposes. Yeah. So after putting the private key here, right? So what we will do is we'll just run the deploy a script to the test, and then we start the web app. All right. So this seems still have some more time. So in order to debug it more smoothly, we want to create a port forwarding. So which means that this is already the port, right? The port to the sandbox, so that we can interact directly with the shell, right? And I want to add another port so that we can directly view the front end. Later on, we will just start the application, and then I will just mint a token, and get an NFT there. All right. Still need some more time. I think it's 60%. Okay. So what's included? So we'll have everything you need to build a DApp powered by Hardhat and React. So these are the dependency we use in this project. And yeah, happy building. So oh, and this is a plugin manager, right? So it has different plugins. So we have the EVM plugin, and this is the activated plugin, and this is activated plugin. So like MetaMask plugin, wallet plugin, Web3 Solidity plugin, and also this is compiler plugins. Yeah. So and this is, I think this is only for dev purposes, but you can just directly import a external plugins here, and it can be loaded directly into the ChainIDE. Yeah. All right. Oh, sorry. I see some I see there are some problems of kind of zooming, right? So is it more clear? Okay. Yeah, this is benefit of browser, right? So you can just directly like zoom in, zoom out with just shortcuts. Yeah. All right, so we're almost there. So I think still I think 1 minute to go to install these dependencies. This is kind of like a heavy, and for kind of like the saving the cost. So for the beta stage, we only provided the restricted like computation power for each sandbox. But after the beta testing, so we are actually like upgrade the kind of capacity of the sandbox, so that will make the installation much quicker. Okay, and usually for the specific projects, we have all these like all these dependencies installed like up front, right? So this today, because I want to do a showcase, I want to start from scratch. So that's why we're actually like building all these parts. So I think we're almost there. Right. Okay. So yeah, so these are the key parts of ChainIDE, and but this is just for this template. So for some other templates, so this template is a sandbox template. For other template like the smart contract only template, we can just directly use the compile and the deployment and interaction panel to do the smart contract like actions, right? So I will if we have time, so I will just do another showcase on that too. Oh, and another thing to know that because this project is from scratch, so this installation I need to start it here, but it's a one-time installation. So after your installation, like initialization is done, so next time when you just relog into this project, then you don't need to install it anymore. Yeah, like let me to rename it, like it's Bsc stack. Yeah, all right, so it's saved here. And of course, you can just do all this, you can just edit these files here. You can just, yeah. So for example, the deploy.js, you can just directly do the edit here, and it will just synchronize to the backend. All right, so we are there. We are there. Okay, it's building packages. Okay, cool. We're done. Cool. And let me run the test first, right? So we want to before the deployment, we want to make sure that all these test cases are passing, right? So this are just basically the test here. Yeah. So what it will do is to test the deployment and the buy, right? So it will call the buy. Oh, and we are downloading the on-demand compiler. Yeah. You can see there are like test file like generates the compilation file generated in the artifact folder, and these are the compiled information of all these artifacts. Yeah. Yeah, and we are deploying the smart contract in a local testnet. All right, so it's the 4 test cases just passed. So let me just do the deployment right now. All right, and we are deploying to Bsc testnet, and it will just generated a link so that we can directly view in the Bsc scan. All right, so it's deployed to this address. So let me check. Let me check here. All right. Yeah, so it just created like 15 seconds ago. Okay, so it must be our like deployment, right? Because we just did it. And the last step, we started the app, and let's try the app in the prop forwarding. All right, so we are starting the React application, and it will be deployed to the I think it's like 3000 port. Yeah. All right. Yeah, because it's a development server, so it will take some time. So let me open the port once it's finished. Yeah, so from the port panel, we can click on the opening a new tab. So it will create a new tab here in the browser, and we can just directly interact with the application in that new tab. Yeah, and we can also like copy the link so that the link we can also copy the link to share to share the window with our friends, so that other people can also try to test it there. Okay, so it's deployed to this 3000 port 3000. So let me open here. Okay, so this is our application, and let me connect my Bsc demo account. All right, I'm connected, and let me mint a NFT, which is a planet. All right, so price is 0.001 BNB. Okay, but it's testnet, so it's technically free. This is a transaction hash, right? Yeah, we are done. So we just minted a planet. Yeah. Okay, so I think it's right about time. So I think we don't have time for another showcase, but thank you very much for attending today's presentation, and hope you guys all enjoy like using ChainIDE for development, and please let us know about any feedbacks. Okay, So I
Thank you,
think
team.
it's time for questions, right?
Right, actually. So I just have one very simple question for you. I understand that ChainIDE is a chain agnostic product.
Yeah.
So we are all heading to this multi-chain future, and I'd like to understand from your thoughts, in a technical standpoint, what must a blockchain have to be essentially future-proof in this fast-moving industry?
Oh yeah, so basically, this is a very good question, and it's also very hard to answer. So basically, what I understand is that to make it future proof, right? So the first thing is the functionality, right? The functionality is very important. For example, we all understand that Ethereum is currently doing their upgrade due to the kind of like the low TPS and the capacity, computation capacity, right? So I think that's for future proof, right? So that's the first thing. All these newcomers to need to solve. I think BSC did a really good job there because it's super fast, right? Super fast, and it's quite cheap, right? The second part is I think the second key part is kind of a compatibility and the connective, right? So make sure we all want a blockchain can be easily integrated with other applications like ChainIDE, right? So we try to integrate with different blockchains, but some blockchains they are quite nice, to quite easy to integrate. Some blockchains it's very hard to integrate, right? So the connectivity is very important. As I mentioned in this like a presentation, right? So the connectivity is the future of Web3. So everything will connect together. Yeah. So I think these are the two parts of the in terms of like the technology side, right? So I think that's the most important. Yeah.
Completely agree with you. Thank you so much for your time today. So, yep, I will now be bring the next speaker up to this session. Hey Romeo, how's everything going?
Good, good. Hi, LZ. How are you?
Doing pretty good. So, just a very short introduction. Romeo is a blockchain developer and he is a BSc enthusiast. So, I will hand the time over to you. Yep.
Thank you, LZ. Hi, guys. Thank you, Tim, for the brief overview of the chain ID and the hands-on experience of the NFT deployment from the end to end. It's very quite impressive. I'm also using from this from last 3 months, and it saves too much our time for the development one. So I'll almost encourage everyone to use more. Always try to chain ID. It will solve your deployment, technical testings, and the hustle-free deployment of the cloud one. Yes. So let me share my screen first. So my screen is shared, right? Good. So before starting to the Dapp on the Binance Smart Chain, how to build your decentralized application on Binance Smart Chain, I want to give you an overview of the goal of the Binance Smart Chain. Binance Smart Chain is to bring programmatically interoperability to Binance Chain. In order to impress the existing popular community and advanced technology, it will bring huge benefits by staying popular with all the existing smart contracts on Ethereum 1, since it's a Ethereum fork. Yes. And achieve to the easiest solutions to develop on the based on the Go Ethereum fork. So the already the developer community is there who has working on the Ethereum one. They can easily develop applications on Binance Smart Chain, or they can also deploy their applications from Ethereum to the BSC one. Yes, Binance. Why BSC has been launched and why it's working? What is the mechanism? How BSC is actually working? What is the proof of stake? So it's like that Binance BSC introduced a system of the 21 validators with a proof of stake authority consensus that can support short time and the lower fees. The most bonded validator candidates of the staking will become validators, and produce blocks. How BSC is securing the security layers, the double sign detection and other slashing logic guarantees security, stability, and chain finality. Also, the cross-chain transfer and other communications are possible due to native support of interoperability. Yes, relays can play a very important role in that. So, what actually the BSC is one number one is the a self-sovereign blockchain provides security, safety, and electric validators. EVM compatible, support all of the existing Ethereum tooling with faster finality and cheaper transactions fees. Interoperable, comes with efficient native dual chain communication, optimized for scaling high performance TFs, and that requires fast and smooth user experience. Distributed with on-chain governance. Number four, proof of stake authorities bring in decentralized and community participants as the native token. And BNB is playing the role of the gas or execution for the smart contracts. So now let's start that. What are the main parts of the applications? For the applications one, there are how you can develop your BSC applications by using of the three main parts. These are the mainly parts of the development of the also the traditional applications and for the DFs as well. So here the smart contracts plays a very important that can be different from the traditional one to the DFs one. For the front end application, for the front end side, you can use either the as team already mentions and ChainIDE is also supporting the React fun and these things. Okay, you can use for the front end one HTML, CSS, JavaScript frameworks. JavaScript frameworks can include of the Next.js, React.js, Vue.js. It's depend on us that which frameworks that we are handy. For the communication between from the backend logic to the front end one means the communication between smart contracts to the front end one we are mostly using the web3.js or you can also use the ether.js. For the smart contracts BSC support the solidity one. You can write your smart contract on the remix id truffle hardhat. These are the frameworks most offered. Also, for the backend fund, providing the leading companies like Morales and Chainlink and some others are also there, so you can use any of them. Tools that are required for the development of the code one, ID, and some DevOps side. For the tool development language is the Solidity one, as I mentioned before. Okay, Solidity is quite very easy and quite similar with mostly with the JS fund. And if you have some hands-on knowledge of the C++, so it will be very easy that you can just understand and write your smart contracts in it. For the wallets one, Binance Smart Chain wallet, MetaMask, or other supported wallets that BSC is also supporting. But widely, the developer community is mostly using of the Binance Chain wallet and the MetaMask ones. ID and libraries, you already checked the how simple is the chain ID, how can easily you can create your applications. There are some uh, tools are already integrated. Yeah, chain id is lacking with some extensions of the VS code one, but as Tim mentioned, they are going to be launched as soon, so it's coming soon. And it's very good for the developers one that are developing the applications on the chain id. The VS extensions, VS code extensions are coming in the chain id one, so it will be more easily to develop more comprehensive applications on it. For you can also use the remix one, it's on live. Okay, by using the URL you can develop your applications. Binance have their own studio, this is which we call the BSC studio. It is also good, you can use it and deploy your application. Truffle, it's a framework. Okay, BSC Truffle is also there. Solk, BSC client based on the Geth, Web3.js, Day Builder, Chain ID. These are the IDs and libraries that you can use it. For the Docker one, BSC Docker Hub is there. Some images are also there. You can just use it and deploy use your application for the easy development. Wallets. What type of wallets BSC is supporting? How you can use the wallet? It's very easy. Some tutorials are already mentioned. Two mostly wallets that used for the development. One is the MetaMask and the Binance Chain wallet. So wallets app is also there. So you can use the Trust Wallet, Math Wallet, and the Token Wallets for your application, for interacting with your applications, do the transactions and signing the transactions. Simple. If you are doing the application development, in our traditional application development, we have some layers. We have a QA one, staking, and testing one. Also in the decentralized applications, if we are developing, first we have to test it on the test net. Okay. Then we realize if there is any bugs, any things, we can check it performance, and then we will go to the mainnet one. For the testnet development, Bsc is providing the some faucet BNBs. Okay, so developers can use and deploy your test their applications. Okay, also and you can check your gas price to using the latest gas explorer before to Bsc Explorer. To go through the Bsc scan explorer, you can go there, you can check the gas price. You can increase your gas price for faster transactions. Okay. Deployment. As I mentioned that deploy locally on Bsc testnet. Bsc testnet is a test network for test purposes. Tokens you can be get from the faucet free of charge. This is a free, so there is no actually monetary value. So deploy on the mainnet. Okay, Bsc mainnet is the main network for production application. After in our traditional applications, we got once we pass from all the test cases, all the scenarios from the staking servers, then we will go to the production one, from development to production. Same here, if we once we pass our testnet application on the testnet and we checked it and it's working fine, definitely we will move to the mainnet for the production environment. So the Bsc have their own mainnet environment productions one. Users are interactive with the smart contracts on the mainnet. Mainnet tokens are the BNB, and the BEP20 are the actual cryptocurrency that you will be used for the productions applications. Bsc Block Explorer. So Bsc offers Block Explorer app for network and on-chain information inquiry. Testnet Explorer, testnet.bscscan.com, mainnet explorer, bscscan.com. These are the two testnet explorer are there. You can use it for testing and verifying the transactions blocks of your application. Audit. For the audit purpose, uh, uh, Bsc, if you have developed your application, okay, and in the productions one, or you want to verify from the auditing of the smart contracts, Bsc is provide this to their projects owners that they can give verify their application for the Certic, Rugdog, Pancake Shield, and many others. So this is how you can develop your application of the Bsc. These are the tools, environments that you can use. One more thing. One more thing that Tim already showed of the demo one, so I don't think so that I will go for the demo one, as he is already showed on the ChainIDE. It was very good. I was also planned to show on the ChainIDE one, but Tim has already showed it was good, and I think it's most of the things are cleared. Yes, yes, please. Yes, Tim.
Hey, Romeo.
Yes, Elri.
Yeah, it's amazing. So thank you for sharing these resources with us. And of course, I think it serves as a very great introductory, I would say, materials for the regular developers. So I do have some questions for you, if you don't mind.
Yes, please. Yes, you can ask.
Sure. I understand that you're a blockchain developer, and from your experience, what's the main difference developing on BSC and other EVM chains compared to non-EVM chains?
Uh, the main difference is from the EVM chain to the non-EVM chain is the smart contract ones. For the execution and the fast execution of the smart contracts, the EVM chains are very good. Now EVM is as Ethereum layer 2 is coming, and they are doing the EVM optimizations from the application side and the backend development from the Go Get side. So it's a very big difference from the EVMs and the now non-EVM chains. This is what I have seen in my past years.
Cool. It seems like we have a question from the public.
Yes.
But while we're waiting for that, interesting. So understand that the future it will be a multiverse, like multi-chain future. So, do you think there'll be further improvements in the technology that links both EVM and non-EVM chains?
Yeah, for the multi-chain funds, they are coming, and this will be the very big, huge difference and the very big benefit for the developers that they will be on a multi-chain. They can develop their applications very easily. But how once it will become, and they will know that how it will be very beneficial for them.
Interesting. So, yeah, I'm still waiting for the question, but before that, there's this comment on YouTube. Is there a way we can get the lecture notes you are using?
We sure I will share it with you. So maybe you can share it to the BSC platform either on the Twitter or any 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 platform you can share it from the community side.
Sounds good. Let's do that.
Yeah.
So, there is a question. For the main parts of Dapp section, I hope I'm not wrong using conventional Node.js for our backend. I'm
Sorry.
not sure. So this was the question that we got. So
Yes.
for the main parts of Dapp section, right? I think it
Yes.
was some part of your slides.
Yes.
The user was wondering if he was wrong if he's using conventional Node.js for the backend.
He can use it for the Node.js one, if but for the Truffle one, if he is using the Truffle or he is using the Red Hat, okay, sorry, hard hat, okay, he definitely use the Node.js because Truffle is totally based on the from the backend side is the npm node package manager. So they have to use the Node.js with that. If they are writing the test cases, they have to write mostly, most of them are writing on the Node.js ones, on the JavaScripts. So basically these are the JavaScript frameworks so that we are using for the front end one. Either if you are using the React.js, Vue.js, or the Next.js, these are the more JS frameworks. So yes, we have to we are using this. I'm writing my test cases in the Node.js ones.
Cool. I'm sure it helped the user who asked the question on Telegram. So interesting. My last question. Let's make it a little more open-ended. Are there
Yes.
any comments or do you have any questions for the BSc team? Because I understand that you're developing on BSc.
Yeah, my suggestion is that the BSc documentation is very behind. Okay, there are no technical resources are available, like there is a no YouTube series of the how I can develop my BSc applications, and no more of the technical step by step articles I did not find on the blogs on the medium.com, C Sharp Corner, dev.to, because the community is the developer community is did not getting the resources from the BSc side. There's this is the leg from the BSc one. One is the documentation, and the second one is from the uh, blogs and the video series like Ethereum have, Solana, Polygon, they have on YouTube, also on the Mediums ones. So yeah, this is what I'm seeing from last one, some from the last 1 year. Yeah, so I did not see any improvement from them on it. So it will be very good if you write some articles, video series for the developers. So new developers, new students, they are doing their projects. They can easily get it, and they know how to do step by step application development on the BSc one. Yes.
Yep. Thank you for this suggestion. I think this is really good, and it'll be great for us to have it as well because we are trying to build a more inclusive community. So something to add on to your point, I think 2022 will be a very special year for BSC. Um, I'm not sure if everybody have saw the technical architectural article that came out recently. BSC is aiming to be a network of networks. So we'll have application side chains, we have different um, parts of the technical architecture will make BSC the center of many side chains and essentially the connector in this space. So cool. I think that's about it for my questions. Any parting words from you?
No, I'll say it's cool from my side. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much then. To our viewers, thank you so much for tuning in on a Sunday. Yeah, I guess we'll see you next week then.
Sure, sure. Thank you, LZ. Thank you, team. Bye bye.
Thank you.